guys, my name's Luke Curry and I'm heading up the capacity program for 98. Today I want to talk about maximal aerobic speed. There's been a few questions about why do we calculate it, how do we calculate it, and then in the program, how are we actually utilising mass. So to start with, our time trial pace is what we use to consider our maximal aerobic speed. So for example, on a bike, we use a 4-kilometre bike erg. On a row or on a ski, we use a 2-kilometre bike erg. From this, you'll complete that time trial in a specific time. From here, we calculate in the back end what your maximal aerobic speed is. What's the simplest way to calculate it though is to look at your monitor and have a look at what your average pace is at the end of that time trial. Let's say, for example, on a bike erg, you complete 4 kilometres in 7 minutes. That's an average pace of 1:45. That average pace is what we consider your mass to be and is what we program off. Now in the program, we utilise a plus or a minus equation. So for example, if we ask you to work at your time trial pace, going back to our previous example, you'll work at 1:45 average. If we now go to a 90%, or if we go to 110%, now we're going to add or minus times off your time trial pace. So let's take, for example, if we ask you to work at 95% of your mass, this is lower than what your maximal aerobic speed was for the time trial. At 95%, what you'll see in the notes is that we're asking you to work 6 seconds above your time trial pace. Therefore, at 1:45, you'll start working at 1:51 for that session. If we want to push you above your time trial average, then what we're going to do is take time off your time trial pace. Therefore, if we ask you to work at 110%, we're going to minus 10 seconds off your time trial pace. So at 1:45, that now becomes working at 1:35 for that session. Now, if you haven't completed your time trial and if you're not sure what your MAS is, the way we'll do it in a class situation or online is in the warm-up, you'll see there's a 30-second block at an 8 out of 10 effort. The reason why we're using 8 out of 10 is we don't want you working at your maximal effort because no one, as good as they are, can work at 100% capacity for the whole time trial. Therefore, working at about 80% of your effort is commonly what we see equal to an MAS. So when we use that 8 out of 10 RPE in the warm-up, look at your screen and have a look at what your average pace is. That's the metric we'll be utilising for that session. Now, there are going to be some certain sessions where intensity is going to be through the roof. In some workouts, what we're asking is a high level of intensity. Therefore, it's going to actually be quite hard to look at the monitor to have a look at what your average pace is that you're holding, particularly if we're asking about 110 to 120%. Because we're taking close to 20 seconds off your time trial pace in a short period of time, it might actually be quite hard to monitor this. Therefore, what we suggest is that you go onto the Concept website and utilise the Concept calculator to set a ceiling. What I mean by that is by utilising this app, we can set a benchmark. So it might be you have to achieve 300 metres to reach your average pace that we've set. Therefore, we're actually asking you to work at 1:20 average. Now, throughout this 20-second interval, it's going to be quite hard to watch the screen. So by utilising the calculator, it's going to predict an estimated finish of about 250 metres. So whilst you're working, instead of watching the average pace, we can set that ceiling. Every now and then you can glance at the monitor to see if you're going to hit that projected outcome. So if you choose to complete a time trial, what we have to do is first learn how to set it up. Regardless which erg you're utilising, it's going to be much the same process. The only considerations will be on a ski erg and on a rower, it'll be a 2,000 metre erg, and on the bike, it will be a 4,000 metre erg. When we go to set this up, we will go to select workout, new workout, and what we're going to pick is a single distance. It's already preset on the ski erg to 2,000 metres, and what we're going to do there is hit OK. From here, there'll be a countdown. So once we start to row or ski, this is going to count down all the way to 0. Now the objective obviously is to finish it as quickly as you can. What we're looking at the end of the session is what your average pace is, which will show up here. That's the metric we're utilising for your maximal aerobic speed. So when we finish the time trial, it is important that we look at this metric here, the average per 500 metres on the ski erg or on the row. On the bike, it will say average per 1,000. Don't be confused with the metric above it. That's how hard you pulled the last stroke or the last effort you had on the bike. We're looking at the average time trial pace overall.